I'm so sorry, Setsuna. I'm really sorry. That might have been a superfluous addition. Perhaps nothing more than a meaningless revelation. On our first ever overseas trip together, I happened to have a reunion with Kazusa. That's all. Something I never told Setsuna when we were there. Something I kept a secret between Kazusa and me. Nothing more. But to Setsuna, it's a far too cruel betrayal to say it's nothing more. But I tell her anyway. I can't keep it from her without knowing for whose sake and without knowing what I'm conveying.
I see.
At some point, our hands separated. Our course towards my place stops, and we look at each other in silence in the cold breeze.
So, that's what you meant back then, when you were apologizing?
I'm so sorry. Setsuna is a smart woman. She's noticed the changes in my demeanor today, but that's all she's finally come to notice just now.
Haruki-kun, you were troubled about this all this time? You were unable to tell me, thinking it had hurt me.
She hadn't noticed. The change in my demeanor had started as far back as that day.
I'm a failure as a girlfriend. Thinking to myself that I understand everything about my boyfriend.
No, it's not your fault, Setsuna. It's just that
But even then, I know that it's my fault. And I think it's a given that you couldn't tell me everything, Haruki-kun.
Setsuna is still feeling tense.
But I still wish you had told me regardless. I can't stop myself from feeling this way.
It's just that her tension is now facing the other direction.
I wanted to see Kazusa too. I wanted to talk to her after all this time.
If I told her that Kazusa was nearby back then, I'm sure that Setsuna would have wanted to meet her.
The three of us could have met up together. We could have talked all night about our memories.
Had she met Kazusa, there's no doubt she'd have been overcome with emotion. She'd have cried and laughed with a vigor strong enough to never separate them again.
But I'm the only one who thought of it that way. Huh.
And I'd have looked at the two of them with a smile. But at the same time, I'd have been tortured by regret and a suffocating feeling.
Perhaps Kazusa doesn't want to meet me? Perhaps you don't want to be seen by me when you're with Kazusa, Haruki-kun?
Kazusa would have talked to Setsuna about their fond memories together. But at times, she'd have gone silent with a pained look on her face.
No, perhaps I thought so too myself.
And Setsuna, when she said her farewell to Kazusa, and we returned to being just the two of us again, she'd have noticed her own deep wounds and cried without knowing why.
I'm sorry. I can't get my thoughts together. I can't talk with you with a smile on my face right now, Haruki-kun.
Yes, like she is now. I'm not sure if it's accurate at all, but that's how I imagined a reunion between the three of us would look.
I'm going home for today.
Setsuna. That's why I couldn't tell Setsuna back then. I knew that no matter when I told her, it'd turn out like this.
I need to think alone for a while. I'll call you once my thoughts are in order.
All while knowing that the longer I kept the secret, the deeper the wound would be once I did tell her.
That's why,
I understand. I'll be waiting. I won't call you until you call me, Setsuna.
I'm sorry.
I should be the one saying. Never mind. Good night.
Good night.
Setsuna turns around, going down the road in the opposite direction to my apartment, towards the station.
Hey, Haruki-kun, let's have a good year this year, okay?
But she turns around once more and forces a smile. Yeah, same to you. Yet, at the sight of those eyes on the verge of tears, I can do nothing but wave my hand back at her. January 4th, Friday.
Kirahara. Hey, Kirahara.
The layout's done. I've already uploaded it to the server, so please go check on it first. It's January 4th. The moment I came back to work, deadlines came left and right, for 2 different magazines, no less.
No, it's not that. Why do you always have to make assumptions when I call out to you?
I'm sorry. It's my natural fight-or-flight instinct I've developed over a year of working here. Precisely. Hamada-san always gets mad without checking.
And my natural scolding tone is something I've developed over 3 years of... No, more importantly, can you drive?
I got my license during university. No, it's only a certificate.
I see. What should we do?
What's the matter? Is it a news coverage site we can't reach without a car? In that case, there are people other than me.
No. This is something Ensemble's chief editor decided, not me.
Ensembles?
He has someone he needs picked up at Narita Airport, and he was wondering if he could rely on you to be that chauffeur.
Narita? Is it a guest from overseas? Must be a real bigwig for there to be a chauffeur. It must be that, you know. I mean, they even asked specifically for Kirahara-kun.
Today, Narita Airport is extremely crowded due to the rush of people returning home from New Year's holidays overseas. And in about 10 minutes, Yoko and Kazusatoma will arrive. While we wait, I'm going to send it back to the studio. Thank you.
Narita and me. There is no need for Suzuki-san to point it out. I can already figure out what answer these 3 keywords lead me to. I can see a video of Narita Airport on the screen of her phone. A noisy reporter is also on the screen, and it doesn't take long for her to speak the last keyword.
Well, that's how it is. He's going to receive the Toma family. He told me that they probably wouldn't mind as long as it's you going along.
Whoa, the media is all over it. She really is the celebrity of the hour. Aren't they after another celebrity who's coming home from a vacation? They just said her name on TV. At the very least, the situation is after Toma Kazusa. Well, I understand why you wouldn't want to accept a former classmate who has risen up the ranks in the world. If that's true, I wish she just would have stayed out of reach. I wish she wouldn't have come to me. But still, I feel bad for Ensemble. She came back to Japan before the publication of their exclusive interview. This is one of the flaws of a bi-monthly magazine. This was a total scoop, yet Kyograph had to take it over instead.
Well, things like that happen, and I actually owed one of their guys a favor.
I worked on the request of Ensemble on an exclusive interview with Toma Kazusa, but their article was moved to Kyograph due to the relevancy of the article. Due to that, they lost a massive scoop, and we gained about 8 pages of pure profit. We even had to change the cover of the magazine halfway.
That's how the situation looks. So, can you do anything? All you have to do is drive them to a hotel and take part in dinner. The editing department will cover the bill, of course.
But I haven't driven a car in over 6 months. Hamada-san, pick me.
In that case, we can call for a taxi. After all, what they seem to want isn't a driver as much as you being in charge of the Toma family. You see, it seems they were incredibly pleased about your interview last month, especially Tomo Yoko.
Yoko-san was? Is that an evaluation of the actual job I did? Or perhaps...
She said that Tomo Kazusa is normally very hard to deal with, and that she barely speaks at all during most interviews. She said it's a miracle that you managed to get that much out of her.
Oh, is that so, Kirahara-kun? I wonder myself. It felt pretty normal to me, though she's been behaving like that since high school. The first time I met her, she was making an enemy of the whole world around her for no reason. But now, the degree of difference in how she speaks to others and how she speaks to me, I don't know what meaning there is behind that aspect of her.
Well, everything is explained now, Kirahara.
I'm sorry, I haven't finished my work for today, so...
Okay, I understand. If you insist to that degree.
Me. Pick me already.
I'll have to attend myself instead. I need to cover for you as your supervisor at least.
I'm sorry, I'm causing you a lot of trouble. Doesn't this sound a bit off? If you're his superior, instead of eating for him, don't you think you should help him with his work? Maybe I should call his wife. I wait for everyone's intense stares to disperse, and then quietly slip away. And I uncomfortably wonder whether my blunt rejection didn't come across as all too unnatural. Things went quite smoothly for my first day of work after the holidays. I was able to leave the editing department before 10 p.m. At first, I just wanted to put on a show to run away from that job and pretend to be very busy, but before I knew it, I ended up finishing everything, and my entire body felt worn out. By working non-stop, I can prevent myself from thinking about anything unnecessary and fully immerse myself in my job. Kazusa is back, and it's headline news on top of that. Even though I bade her farewell 5 years ago at the airport. Even though I bade her farewell in my heart 2 years ago. Even though I bade her farewell 2 weeks ago in Strasbourg. Despite that, she's returned. I never imagined that things would turn out this way. To put it more accurately, I very much did anticipate this to happen, but I forced myself to not even entertain the possibility.
Next stop is Awaza-chan. Awaza-chan, please stand clear of the door.
I'm no good at all. Whenever I have the slightest time to think, I turn out like this. There should be nothing to be worried about. Her homecoming has absolutely nothing to do with me. It's simply that she got high appraisal overseas, which caused her to soar in popularity in Japan. Now she is simply answering to the Japanese demand. That's right. I have no involvement, no interest.
Awaza-chan, please mind the gap. The doors are now closing. Please stand clear.
I'm not supposed to have any involvement. I can't be allowed to hold any interest. I can't be allowed to hold any interest. What am I doing? This isn't where I live at all. Why would I get off the train halfway? I walk down this path that's filled with memories and regret for over 10 minutes. And the place I reach is a place that has been unsuitable for living in. And the place I reach is a place that has been unsuitable for living in for over 3 years. Toma, wait, hold on. Quickly, come. Well, this is.
What's wrong? After all this time, you're going to get cold feet now?
Of course I would! It seems that when Kazusa left, this place was still being maintained. But at some point, the nameplate reading Toma at the front was replaced with a sign reading for sale. But because this building is so overly extravagant and spacious, no one can come up with an appropriate bid. So the building has been left without a buyer. Before long, weeds started growing on the surrounding area, and what had once been our studio had lost any vestige of what it once had been.
You're really okay with this, right, Kirahara? Hey, let's do it! I want to see you play this, Kirahara-kun! That means Kirahara wrote the lyrics for you, and I composed for you. This is the song we created only for you, Oguso. We don't have much time left, Haruki-kun. There's only one day left. Let's work hard together and complete our song, okay?
We only spent 2 weeks here, never talking most of the time, only playing our instruments. So, why do I only recall vivid and happy memories of this place?
What?
Just why? Why is the person making up the core of my happy memories standing right in front of me now? After staring at me dumbfoundedly, Kazusa finds herself at a loss for words at the state of what had once been her home. Double-checking the nameplate, peeking through the gate, walking around the house, and finally realizing the true length of 5 years.
I heard from Mom.
I see.
She said I'm better off not checking it out.
I see.
I wish I never did.
You've gotten your just desserts for abandoning this house and for abandoning this country, for coming back despite saying you didn't mean to, for coming home despite the wavering of your family, for coming home despite the warnings of your family.
After all, I met someone I hate at a place I hate.
For having a reunion with me, even in Japan. I thought you were having dinner with our chief editor.
I left that to Mom and left because they told me someone I hate was going to appear. And yet, when I came here, I don't get it at all.
Yeah, that goes for the both of us. We both went out of our way to avoid each other. But in the end, we ended up meeting each other.
Why are you here in a place like this? Why is it you, Haruki?
There is no particular reason for it. When I realized I was already standing here, and that place was the place filled with the memories of the three of us.
Are you stupid or something? Coming to a place like this is pointless.
You're the stupid one here. Forget pointless. Coming here is only going to cause you pain. But the memories left by the three of us are long gone, without any trace being left behind. I'm sorry. I really can't call this anything other than bad luck. This is our first reunion in Japan after 5 years. We supposedly had a somewhat special relationship together back then.
I guess I should go home. I have no business here anymore.
Yet, there is no hint of any desire to celebrate our chance meeting, nor to reminisce about our past memories. Where are you staying right now?
In a hotel, in a suite on the top floor. You wouldn't care about where the hotel is, right?
Suite, huh? You two never change, do you? That's a luxury that will forever remain foreign to me.
It won't work if we don't increase the security a little. I learned that the hard way today. There are even reporters appearing in the hotel lobby.
That's because you're famous now. I expect nothing less of a prize winner in the Giovanni International competition. To the contrary, we both tried to avoid a reunion in Japan. And now that we finally met, our conversation goes less than smoothly.
I haven't accomplished anything yet. A novice pianist like me would never be taken seriously in Europe.
Is that so?
My mom gets countless calls from famous orchestras, yet I haven't been called by anyone. That's just how big the difference is between us.
But that's just because you're new. Your mom has been on the forefront for almost 30 years now.
You're right, I am new. Yet tickets in Japan have sold out already. They've confirmed an additional concert before my first one is even done? What kind of joke is this?
That's because you're Japanese, isn't it, Kazusa? The reason no one pays you any mind in Europe, yet everyone knows you in Japan, is precisely that.
There are Japanese artists working harder than me overseas, yet no one even bats an eye at them.
Well, there is a reason for that too, but I don't think you'd be satisfied if I told you.
Is it a Japanese way of thinking? Do you mean they have a different sense for these things?
Perhaps. Or maybe it's the 2 giant knockers on your chest? Just saying. Something that all Japanese people share. Or rather, are utterly unified about. Is the way they get easily excited and bored about celebrities in a uniform manner. That is something anyone familiar with Western culture would find strange.
This country is abnormal. To have the mass media chase after a little girl who has accomplished nothing. It's like I'm a celebrity.
Perhaps her utterance is a sarcastic remark about me, who is both Japanese and part of the mass media.
I'm so sick of this country. As soon as the concert is over,
Then you shouldn't have come. Those words were obviously meant to start something. I thought you weren't coming to Japan. That's what you said in your interview, right? Or if I made a mistake pushing back against her provocation.
Did you not want me to come?
My opinion is irrelevant. If I told you not to come, would you go back this instant? She did take offense in the end.
You're right. I'm the one who decides. So if I say I'm going, I'm going.
Is that so? Good for you.
No one can change the way I feel. Not my audience, not my mother, and especially not you.
You're going to ignore the voices of your fans? What an awful celebrity you are. Or perhaps that kind of attitude is par for the course in the celebrity world?
Why do you always have to find fault in every little thing I say?
I don't care if you belittle me, but there are people who truly like your music. Don't you think you're being rude to them?
I keep telling you that's irrelevant. Don't lecture me about things that have nothing to do with the conversation.
In truth, you're regretting what you just said a little, aren't you? You just don't know when to back down. After all, you've always been a lot more timid than you look.
You have no right to judge me. Who do you think you are, Haruki?
Sorry.
You haven't changed at all.
I wonder why. This is our first reunion in Japan after 5 years. We supposedly had a somewhat special relationship together back then. Why can't we have a peaceful conversation? Why must it always degrade into pointless lecturing and emotional fits of anger?
This place is what's causing all this. I'm going home. This time, I'm really going home.
I see. Of course, I already know the answer to that question.
I'll never come back here again.
You can't reminisce here anymore.
I won't ever come near any place that I used to know, or any place that has a history with me.
Because the history we built up with the 3 of us has long since been cut off. And now we're divided into a couple and 1 person. And Kazusa isn't part of the couple. You could do a throuple. I've been advocating that since the beginning.
See you, Haruki. I don't think we'll ever meet again, though.
Can you make it home?
Don't make fun of me. I can at least speak Japanese.
Unlike during our time in Strasbourg, Kazusa is the one who leaves this time. But unlike the irresolute me, she walks away with her back held straight, never looking back. That's why I remain, irresolutely and intently looking at her back as she wanders off into the distance. I'm sorry, Kazusa. I'm really sorry for pointlessly angering you. January 6th, Sunday.
Don't you think you're overthinking it, Setsuna? That goes for everyone else, too.
Overthinking what?
Like I said, about Tomo Kazusa. About whether she still has feelings towards Kitahara-san. I mean, she's the pianist celebrity of the hour. She's a completely different person from the keyboardist we knew from the school festival. She's become really pretty, hasn't she? I'm sure she's much better at the piano, too. I'd like to listen to it. Why would a famous person like her bother with a man of Kitahara-san's caliber? Haruki-kun's caliber? What's that supposed to mean? I'm not looking down on him or anything. It's just that no matter how much you admire him, it doesn't change the fact that he's just a normal man in other people's eyes. Even so, he's just too special to me. This isn't the first time to listen to you talk about how much you love your boyfriend like usual. We're here to discuss the possibilities. Haruki-kun was very special. To Kazusa, too. 5 years ago. But Tomo Kazusa isn't the same girl she was 5 years ago. She's way out of his league now. But wouldn't it work out anyway as long as their feelings are? I don't think it would work out. Especially not considering her circumstances. Kazusa's circumstances? She's based in Europe, for one thing. As soon as her concerts in Japan are done, she'll return home. But maybe it's my fault that she went to Europe in the first place. I know this isn't a very good way to put it, but this is just the opportunity to promote herself. That's why the staff around her won't allow something like that to happen. But Kazusa's mother seems to be pretty open-minded, at least regarding herself. More importantly, she's in the crosshairs of the mass media. No one can get close to her that easily. But Haruki-kun is part of the mass media. And you could even say that he's in charge of all jobs involving Kazusa. Oh, jeez. I say this and you say that. It's unbearable. But then what about Kitahara-san? Do you think he's capable of something like that? Haruki-kun isn't he a pretty straight-laced person? He's completely bound by social norms, in a good way. That's the reason it took so much effort to make him look at me again. That's the reason it was so hard for him to overcome the past. That's precisely why I think he would never abandon what he has now. Or make you sad, Setsuna. Though I wouldn't put it past him to cheat on you in secret. I heard that. That's why. No matter how much Tomo Kazusa loves Kitahara-san. So, you haven't ruled out that possibility after all. I'm only entertaining the thought because you refuse to rule it out. Jeez, you're so annoying. I am an annoying woman after all. Always hesitating, always worrying about the past. my friend from 5 years ago has returned, and I haven't even tried to contact her. I can't even feel happy about her return. I'm that kind of unpleasant girl. Setsuna. Oh, jeez. I'm self-loathing now. Haruki-kun will just get sick of me like this. I might even end up giving Kazusa unpleasant memories. What should I do? What am I supposed to do? Hey, since you're like this, how about we clear our minds with some singing? Karaoke? I'm not really in the mood. No, not that. Wait a second. Can you even sing right now considering all that voice training you went through earlier? I can do that for as long as I want without problems. The strength of your vocal cords really are professional grade. Not really. I like singing, but I'm bad at it. It's such a waste that only I can hear you sing. Won't you step up as backup for our concert? Won't you step up as backup for a concert? It could help you clear your mind too. A concert? Huh? Remember the band that you joined up with 2 times last year? The one doing the acoustic music, mostly classic songs? Yeah, I remember. They didn't have a regular singer, so they were always looking for outside help. After that, they finally got a singer to join, so they had a full band. Oh, that's good for them. But the girl was absolutely unbelievable. She 2-timed both the drummer and the bassist, so she's being kicked from the band. I feel like I've heard this story before. And now their concert is coming up in 2 weeks, but they're still looking for a backup singer. I see. They wouldn't have any complaints if it was you. Everyone loved you when you filled in as the singer last time. And that goes for the audience as well. 2 weeks is impossible. I have a job now, so I can't prepare in that time frame. I'm not a student anymore. Roger that. So you agree to do it. I'll call the leader right away. Wait, Tomo, are you even listening? Yeah, I was listening. I'll tell them that you're up for the task as long as you're able to prepare. They're in a really tight situation too, so they'll start practicing songs that you can already sing, Setsuna. All you have to do is rehearse a few times, and everything will be fine. Domo! Kei-chan, big news! Yukina can make an appearance this Sunday.
January 7th, Monday. But I refuse.
What did you just say?
It's early afternoon in the conference room. After a loud bang on the desk, the room falls into silence. Now that there's only the 2 of us in the vast conference room, an awkward tension hangs in the air.
Ow, 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 ow.
Are you okay? During that silence, Hamada-san holds his right hand in agony, trembling with tears in his eyes.
Hey, can you work out something, Kidahara? This isn't exactly a request.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Perhaps it's because he's used to being angry, but his anger never lasts for very long. That can be seen as something both good and bad.
There are high expectations put on the editing department. Wouldn't this be a chance for you to climb the corporate ladder?
That may be true, but whether he plans on forcing me or luring me into this job. I have no room to hesitate right now.
The interview article on last week's issue received an amazing response. The first issue of this year was better than any issues we had last year. Here, it's the royalties for your work.
Thank you. What I received felt very light, both physically and mentally. On the brown envelope, the words President's Award were written with a ballpoint pen. I imagine that it contains Hamada-san's own pocket change.
Well, our success was decided the moment we got our hands on the biggest craze of the season. I really feel bad for Ensemble.
I do too. Due to the concert held in Japan coming earlier than expected, they had no choice but to hand over the job to us, thus explaining this so-called President's Award.
That's why I have to repay the favor. Kirahara, don't you agree?
This is a plan Ensemble's chief editor and Hamada-san, along with Tomo Yoko, decided over a drink. Tomo Kazusa's Japanese concert exclusive coverage, and I was thus singled out to be in charge of this job. But she's not a TV personality, she's a pianist, a classical pianist to boot.
Yet she's more popular than all the TV personalities at the moment. That's why there's a purpose to the exclusive coverage.
Yeah, but what about her private life? That is to say, what is being expected of me is to follow Tomo Kazusa around every day until the concert, get comments out of her, and take countless photos of her. I'd be robbing her of any sense of privacy, and sacrificing my own privacy in the process. Basically, what you would expect from a tabloid journalist. Kazusa would be furious if she were to ever hear about this. I got this impression when our interview was done. She's pretty nervous about people making a lot of noise about her.
Then try not to provoke her too much. Make sure to develop a positive relationship with the interviewee. And you must also write a great report. That's how you show off your ability.
Such a difficult job is impossible for me.
You can do it. You, Kazuoka's successor.
This feels like I'm rewinding back to 2 years ago. The job that ended up being the reason Setsuna and I broke up, and the reason we got back together.
She would have been capable of tending to the interviewee's emotions and get the job done. You were brought up following in her footsteps, weren't you?
It's unfair to bring up Mari-san's name so often.
Regardless, I've already gotten the green light from them. As long as you agree, no one will be against it.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Looks like Setsuna is singing again, which is good that she's getting over that grief she had. But will Haruki interviewing Kazusa again and following her around for a week set things back again?